Okay guys, welcome to day 49. We are gonna do 2 straight weeks of work at the house. So we are starting with the kitchen. And as you can see, we've gotten pretty far along on it, but we need to do the floors. So that's what we're working on today. We have the vinyl floor, we have then plywood and some extra flooring here that we need to rip up so that we can get down to the wood floors. We know that we have wood floors because we can see them over there. We just are hoping that they're in good condition. And then once we get this up, all of the floors in the house will be exposed, and then we can rent the sander and we can start sanding all the floors. Great, so making progress. We've had multiple layers of floors we've been ripping up. So we had the vinyl and then the subfloor. And now we're getting to another vinyl, which is attached to another vinyl, this green stuff. And then under this like black padding is another subfloor. And then we have the wood floors. So quite the amount of layers. You can see that is the other subfloor, and then what is open right here is the wood floors. All right, so this is where we are, getting towards the end of the day. We got this section of the kitchen done. We still have this entire section to do. There were so many layers of the floor, so it took quite a while to get them up. So this is where we are at the end of today. And now I'm gonna work on getting up all of these nails so we're not stepping and tripping over them. So we have good wood floors in the kitchen. And this was the last set of wood floors, I believe, in the house that we needed to expose so that we can sand the floors. All right, so all the floors in the house are now officially sanded. This is the kitchen. And this is the living room. So all of this is done. I used this sander that I rented from Home Depot. The floors are uneven. Again, that's why you're seeing different areas that are more sanded than others. But I'm gonna go back through with 2 different sanders, hand sanders that we have. In the kitchen, I just did the orbital sander in all of the corner areas that the large sander was not able to get. So like getting as close as I could along here and everything, and around these areas. And the kitchen honestly was probably the easiest because it had the thinnest amount of paint, and this area over here, it was patched. So as you can tell, this was never painted. So we didn't have to do really anything over here. But yeah, this actually came off quite well because it wasn't, the paint, there were so many layers and it was so old, the paint on this, that it just wasn't even really there anymore. In here, this is probably our most uneven floor, which is why there's such extremes. So I'm gonna go back through with another sander that we have and do these little straight patches, and then I'll go around the edges along here with the orbital sander. But yeah, I mean, this sander definitely saved us days, probably even like a week or 2, if we were to do the entire house by hand. So this is great, even though we have to go back in and kind of fill in the rest of the patches, and I still have to do, the stairs will do by hand completely, and then I still have to go upstairs and do all of like the corners and fix little patches like this as well. So definitely not done with all of the sanding in the house, but I can return this because we've gotten most of it done. All right, so I did a few of the rooms. This is what it looks like sanded. I'm using 35 grit paper. So it did a decent job, but our floors are super uneven where like the ends here are taller than the center. So as you can tell, that's what it's sanding. I did this 3 times and this is as good as I could get. It doesn't look that good, but this is what it used to look like. So I guess when you compare them, it actually did a decent job. And it doesn't get that close, so you can exactly see where I've stopped. Hey guys, okay, remember how I said that after I did the floor sander that I rented, I'm gonna have to go back through by hand and sand the pieces that didn't get sanded because our floors are all uneven and everything. So I'm gonna show you what I'm doing. It's basically a lot of the same stuff that I used for the first room, which I showed you in one of our past videos. But I changed up a little bit of the paper. Okay, so I'm using the orbital sander, and I have 2 that I'm using. So this one is a 40 and this one is a 60, and this one is actually a little bit different. It's kind of like a Velcro-y as opposed to this one, which is like super rough. But what I'm finding is that because our floors have 2 layers of paint and everything on them, that these are like it's like it gets too hot and then it like melts it, and then the Velcro and stuff becomes unattached. So then it's like I'm only getting half use out of these. So I like them because they are rough and they actually like get the stuff off the floor, but once it gets too hot, it's kind of just like a waste. So I tried using these, and although I feel like they're not as strong, probably one because this is 60 and the other ones are 40, but I like these because I feel like they last a little bit longer, and you can just like blow them off and rinse them, and they're just reusable. So giving these a try. And then I'm using the belt sander. Also, it gets so hot that it just starts melting, kind of crumbling the paint, which is not what we want. I just want like a very rough sand, but smooth, if that makes any sense. So this is what I'm using. These are 50. I can just kind of rough up the paint a little bit, and then I'm going back through with this and just kind of breaking it up a little bit more. Again, I don't need it to be perfect because I'm painting it. The first bedroom that I did, we did actually strip both full layers of paint off, which was way overkill, but I didn't really know that until after the fact. So, yeah. So for these rooms, I'm just basically doing, or for the rest of the house, I guess, I'm basically just doing kind of a rough sand where I'm getting most of the paint off, but you know, it doesn't need to be perfect. I'll show you what the floors look like in this bedroom. All right, so this is what I'm working with in this bedroom. So as you can see, the floors are uneven, and these are the areas that I'm going to try to work on, but I'm not planning to strip it to this far. It's really kind of just to get it to kind of like this area, and then we'll be good to go. This is what I mean by melting the paint. See how it just starts getting like clumpy, and if you touch this, it's quite warm, and this makes it then uneven to be able to sand properly.